Good afternoon. Welcome to the Customer Experience Management 2017. We are well into the afternoon on the first day in Cape Town for the CEM 2017 Africa event. With me today, I've got Aditya Rath, the lead partner from KPMG. Welcome, Aditya, to the Customer Experience Management event. I'm going to pass the microphone over to you to introduce yourself and give us an indication as to what the KPMG expectations are from this event today. You are one of the lead sponsors of the event, and I'd like you to describe to us in terms of your sponsorship why you've sponsored the event at CEM 2017.
Thank you so much, and warm welcome to all. This has been a wonderful afternoon. My role is that I'm a part of the global think tank of customer excellence, as we call it, or the COE around customer excellence, and I work across multiple regions to be able to take this message forward on customer experience. What we've been very keen, and the reason why the local firm and KPMG as a fraternity is investing, is that we believe that if the next level of changes is only going to happen at the customer level. The phenomenal shifts are happening in a country like South Africa or the larger African region. The customer is getting empowered, whether it's through social media or it's through devices, is it through different tools and technologies and toys which they have been pampered over the last few years. And hence the customer, it is the age of the customer. This is the 6th version of this event, the CX, the Customer Summit out here. And we believe that this is the right time for us to look at an event which is going to be the flag bearer or the flagship event of this region. This has all the right ingredients. It's got great understanding of the fraternity. It's got excellent co-sponsors who also happen to be investing time and energy. And I think for us, what's more important is sharing of ideas rather than looking at opportunities just alone. So that was the expectation, and I think it's been fabulous. Yesterday's evening, the awards was awesome. We were the tabulators for those awards. We looked at the process, and today some of the speakers have really brought in a different dimension to what customer experience means for the African region.
In terms of the remit of KPMG, it being a global organization, what do you see the future of CX into Africa and introducing your experience, your knowledge, your contribution into Africa? How do you see KPMG addressing the greater, wider African market?
It's a very interesting question because the question has two dimensions. One of the dimensions is the region, and the other dimension is what's happening in this region. So the geographic spread is huge. It's large. It controls several different countries which are going to be participating in this change, as I call it, because you have a whole bunch of companies which are multinationals in that sense. They provide services in more than one country out here. So that also gives you an interesting set of challenges. The other set of challenges which is important is, what are these people going to do in the next 3 to 5 years for which the future of customer experience is going to get defined. The first piece is that there's a lot of young people around here, and they would expect a certain level of sophistication in the customer experience, which is going to be a part of what we are talking here. Also, the future would be that organizations will have to invest on a longer customer experience cycle than what some of the other countries would have done, because there is a diverse population which does not belong to the same economic strata. So there are people who are rich, and there's a huge amount of people who are not that well off. But there is no difference when you're going to deliver customer experience to them. The third piece, which will be in the next 5 years, is that you will see a lot of more smarter devices coming this way. I think in my stay out here and in the travels that I do across the African region, I have seen a lot of interesting frugal innovations happening, which will drive adoption of devices far more strongly than where it has been in some part of the world. Africa does have a lot of talent, but that talent now needs to be honed to understand customer experiences as an overall concept, not just a concept in sales and marketing. So in the next 5 years, I think there would be a need for a lot of training, reskilling of people to be able to take customer experience from wherever it is today to the next level. So quite an interesting time for somebody who's trying to choose a career and who has a promise in the next 3 to 5 years. I think customer experience is the place to be in. Nobody is born with a customer experience degree. You really have to empathize. You have to understand what your consumer is expecting from the brand. And that transition is going to make it very, very important for the African countries.
And in terms of the engagement with those various communities and the differences in culture, potential language, how do you see technology facilitating the interaction with the customer base out in those regions, primarily around being able to initially make the contact if you haven't already, but also in ensuring that there is longevity with regards to the constant engagement with your customer base out into Africa?
Well, technology will be one key enabler or a theme which will run across any customer experience journey. We're talking 2017. We're not talking 2010. We're not talking 2005. Technology today is getting much more affordable by every passing quarter or 6 months or a year. And that's actually changing. It's a challenge for customer experience practitioners because you have to keep unlearning and learning new technology. New jargons keep appearing, new small toys keep appearing, and that's the way it's going to be. It's not going to change in the short term. And technology is going to drive this change. On the aspects that you questioned, sustainability will be when technology is affordable. And investing in technology is making business sense. Technology by itself will not lead to profits. It has to make business sense to the organization which is doing it. Banks and telecoms have to do it because they're regulated. They require technology to reach there. Maybe manufacturing, maybe real estate, maybe dairy or retail. These will have to pick and choose which technology battles they want to fight and which ones they want to win on customer experience. On the media side, on content is going to be the king. And it's going to drive media consumption like never before because today the access to devices has significantly increased. Data is going down in terms of revenue. And we would definitely have a lot of more insights about customer behavior on content. So that's another piece where technology is going to play a critical role. And the last piece which I wanted us to focus on is that technology has no boundaries. So which means that what's accessible to anyone in the world today is accessible to people in Africa. So, and that's the mindset in which we need to go into a problem solving rather than look at technology as a limiting factor. Get your business model right, get your finances right, see where you're going to make money, and then take the technology decision.
And that answer leads me right into my next question, which is, what is the difference that would make to your business and to your clients if you could engage with your customer experience agents on a regular daily basis? Is that critical? Is it important? Is it necessary?
So to look at the problem statement, you've got to look at two different aspects to this problem statement. Certain industries require a very high touch with customer experience or with call center or with an agent per se. And certain industries can be very happily doing their bit and only come to agent on managing exceptions. You really don't need them as a part of the regular working of what they're doing. So our view is on from where we look at customer is that you definitely will have a call center, but in the avatar of the call center as to how it will be defined by the problems or the experience that the call center is delivering. In retail, it would be mostly an omni-channel play maybe. In banks, it's definitely today an omni-channel play. You might want to look at an auto dealership or an automotive downstream activity where they're selling cars. You don't really need a call center because the cars are intelligent now. And most of the cars are able to sense and tell you what it is. You do need a call center possibly to do let's say an accident management or a resolution, which is a real-time effect where they need to talk to a person. The other bit is what is interesting on the call center side is that there's huge amount of investments to make them more closer to machines, which is unfortunate, but that's where the investment is going, which is on bots, which is on chat bots specifically. You do have machine learning, which is becoming very important as a part of the entire call center process, which is only going to, the way I look at it, and I hope my call center colleagues do look at it, is that it's only going to empower them to do more higher end stuff in delivering customer experience. So while a lot of this heavy lifting could be done by the so-called technology platforms which are coming in, but the customer experience could be something which has to be developed by the human. So that's a great opportunity for them when they are sitting at a call center. But as I see overall, every industry will have to have their own avatar of what their call center needs to do, and does it add value to customer experience. If the call center is right there because it's been there for the last 20 years, it's time to relook at it and see whether it really makes sense or not.
That's key in terms of the longevity and the continuous interaction with the customer, which I understand from you still requires that human intervention. Yes, we can try and automate as much as we can with the AI side of things coming in, like you mentioned, learning from a machine and so forth. But the human interaction is still going to be a critical component in the delivery of the engagement. Okay. So, which leads then on to the next question, which is, if that continued engagement were possible, would we have sufficient content to make the engagement with our customer base, with your clients, more meaningful and more impactful? And if not, how would you create or source this content?
It's a very tough question to answer. The reason why it's tough is that our view of content when we sit in executive boardrooms or presentations is English. Well, it's still the widely spoken or commonly used language, but there's so much of content which can be done and developed in regional or local languages, because there is a huge market to that. To start with, that's the first problem. We don't have enough content in regional languages in several countries, and people are working on it. But content requires a huge amount of money, good content. And it's not something which is going to be available to us out of the box. Content is not something accidental. That's a small video that goes around in WhatsApp. But what I'm talking of is curated content which people are going to pay for, or people are going to give their valuable time to watch. And that content requires a high degree of use of technology, great production skills, and at the end of the day, great storytelling. And I think all these three have to all the three dots have to be on a line for us to be able to look at content strategies. Why content is going to be important, not just on customer experience, but I think content is important to be able to deliver strong brand messages to the end consumer. And today, many of us use surrogates to do that. But our going in hypothesis is that organizations will necessarily have to work with content creators, professional content creators, to be able to sustain the message that they are bringing in.
And thank you for that opportunity. KPMG is already an Anfarm customer. We already live stream a substantial amount of content that we produce for you. your teams inside at KPMG already create the content, and we're seeing extreme value in terms of us jointly working together to just honor that commitment, which is really the more valuable the content, the more you could monetize the content, and the more interest there is, in the content. An example of this is IFRS technical updates that we work very closely with you. So we provide our video platform to actually deliver that live to your customers, and hence again to your point, which is, creating content is key to the sustainability and the growth and engagement with your customer, providing substantial value in terms of not only looking at new additional revenue streams, but the ongoing relationship with the customer. In terms of my last question to you, how often, in terms of the future now, would you want to live engage with your customers? Understanding that you're already doing it, is there an appetite on the KPMG side to not only continue with that, but to also maybe expand into further remits?
Live would be a new concept for a B2B company like ours, because we do connect to B2B customers. We do a lot of webcast, and which is something that we've been doing on a new regulation which has come in, on a new market condition which has happened, or something our clients want to know about, and a large amount of clients want to know in a very quick manner. For us, content on the back of knowledge will be important, and live hence becomes doubly more important when we want to move ahead into a rich user experience rather than a voice-based or an email-based campaign / information sharing. What will be also interest, and I'm more ideating now as to what could be a solution that KPMG could use, is the whole idea of bringing in online dialogue on live content, because some of our content is very technical in nature. It talks about a tax reform, it talks about an audit reform, it talks about a regulatory reform. It talks about a new age tool that requires a largish explanation. So it's very difficult to have long attention span and unless you have a very interactive session. So those would be areas that KPMG would definitely look at it. And it's always nice to work with somebody like you guys out here. So all the very best.
And that's exactly what we've built for KPMG. Is typically, live content, or any content for that matter, is generally and typically a one-way interaction. Our platform, and you're currently using those features today, which is the ability for the online audience viewing the live content to be able to actually interact with the moderator, ask him a question directly, answer multiple choice questions to gauge whether the online viewership is consuming the content to the necessary level that you would need to. So we're extremely proud and honoured to have you on our stand today. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am going to pass the microphone over to you so you could have the last word, and I'll do that right now.
Well, my last word is something which I tweeted about today, that experiences don't happen, they have to be created. And content is going to be the king. See you guys.
Thank you very much, and we're going to be back later this afternoon with some more interviews. Keynote sessions are going to be starting at 3 o'clock, and we look forward to a successful afternoon. We'll see you all now.